Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we got a great little services animation for you today. As you can see, we've got a little services section here with a few services. Nice little image behind there. If I refresh this page, when the page loads, the image is going to show up. 2 seconds later, a little icon's going to show up. It's going to expand. 2 seconds later, the next one, and so on and so forth. And that's a really nice little attention grabbing thing to have on your site. And it's totally responsive. If I hit my F12 key, I'm using Google Chrome with the inspector tools here. Here we have it on an iPad. If I just refresh this page on the iPad, there's the image. There's our first icon, second icon, third icon, expanding. And of course you can link these to anywhere you want. Your web design page, your hosting page, or SEO page, whatever. And of course, it'll work exactly the same on the iPhone. Once again, refresh. I've actually got a video background in that section. Just on mobile there. There's our first icon. Second one. And third one there. I'll remove that video background in a minute. Does work quite well, but it's just left over from a previous build. Okay, well, let's get rid of this and I'll show you exactly how you can build this. Really easy. Let's enable the visual builder. Once enabled, I'm going to go down. I'm going to start a new section. Little blue button. Click on any existing section. Little blue buttons are going to appear. Click on it to add a new section. I'm going to make mine a regular section. In mine, I'm just going to have a single column in a single row. I'm going to throw a blurb module in there. Of course, this will work with just about any module. I like to use the blurb module because it's got the little icon there on the left. Let's pop that in there. Okay, if I roll this up, let's just save that as it is and we'll get rid of that top one so it doesn't confuse us here. Great. So here we've got a blurb module in a single column in a row. Green tab for the row, blue tab for the section, dark tab for the module. Let's get this the way I want it. I don't want any content really. We'll put something in for the title. And if we roll down, I want to use an icon rather than an image. So I click on image and icon, hit the little switch till it says yes. Choose whatever icon you want. There's a huge amount of icons here. They've teamed up with Font Awesome. Just select the one you want or put in a search term, or there's a little breakout button here. You can hit the breakout box and find it this way. There's a lot of scrolling involved. It's a good idea to have an icon in mind. I'm just going to use this one for mine today. As I mentioned earlier, you can link this module anywhere you want. I'll just put a hashtag in the actual module itself to simulate a link. Obviously, I'd want to link to my web design services page or section, wherever it may be. And I've put this in the module link rather than the title, so they don't have to click on just the title. They can click anywhere within this module. Okay, well, let's throw in a background color just so we can see what's going on here. I guess I'll use that same purple I used before. We're going to take that away in a little while. And let's make this the way that we actually want it. Design-wise, image and icon, I'm going to make my icon a lot smaller and put it on the left hand side. I also want it to be white in color. I'm going to change it to white in color. I'm going to make it perhaps 50 pixels. And image icon placement, I want it on the left hand side there. Perfect. Now my title there, I can get to it by rolling over it, hitting the little paintbrush. I'm going to have it bold perhaps. I'll also want it white. I want it to be sort of central to our little icon there. So I'm going to go down to the text line height, or title line height I should say. I'm going to pull it up till it's where I want it. And I don't mind that it makes that a little bit bigger there, because I'm going to adjust all this with the row itself. Fantastic. Now if we roll down to our sizing here, we've got content width. It gives it a default of 550. I want mine to use up all the available space, which is 100% of the column that it's sitting in. So I'm going to change that content width to 100 and the percent sign So now it's kind of on the left there. Perfect. Okay, I'm actually going to go back to our content now. I'm going to take that background away. This will all disappear into the white background, but I'll bring it back when I work on the row in a minute. So back to background. I'm going to take that color away, hitting the trash can. Let's go into the row that it's sitting in now. I'm going to make some adjustments on the row itself. Green tab for the row. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to give that the same purple background. Fantastic. I'm going to take the opacity down just a little bit. So when we put a little image behind, it's going to show through there a little bit. Great. Let's pop over to our design now. Sizing wise, I'm going to give it a fixed height down here. I think I use 73 because I know that's 50. Let's try 73. And of course you can adjust yours to taste. And we're going to go down spacing just below. Let's add a little bit of padding. I'll make it 10 pixels on the top. That's better. It's almost central there. I can hit the chain so it's got the same on the bottom, but we're going to give it a fixed height so that doesn't matter too much. And I'll also give it 10 left and right. May need to adjust this in a minute. That's shaping up there. I want to make my corners of my row rounded. To do that, we can do that in border just below here. Let's give it 50 pixels. The chain's checked by default, so if you do one, it'll do all four at once. Fantastic. It's giving it round corners for us. Now let's go back to sizing, and initially all I want to see is that icon. So for the width right here, I'm going to use our 73 pixels, which is what I used before. Make sure you put in the px, else it'll put in percentage, which won't work. Now we've got a nice little round icon there. Great. But when this page loads, I want this thing to animate. As you saw, I want it to fade in after 2 seconds. I want it to take 2 seconds to fade in. And I'm going to have a 3-second animation that's going to turn it from 73 pixels to 100% of the width. Now we don't have to use a code module or anything. We can go straight to our Advanced tab, Custom CSS. Don't panic, I've written it all for you. In the Freeform CSS tab, I'm going to put my cursor in now. I'm going to say Selector. So it's selecting this row. Let's open and close some curly brackets. And I want it to roll an animation. So I've got to say animation, colon. Then we'll give the animation a name. I've got a shorthand for LNG long row, lngrw. You can make yours what you want. It wants to be unique though. I want my animation to run for 3 seconds, so that's 3s. I only want it to happen once, but I want it to be smooth, so I'm going to say linear. And I'm going to put in 2 values in a minute. One's going to be 73 pixels, the other one's going to be 100%. I want it to stay on the 100%. So to make sure it stays on our second animation 100% value, I'm going to say direction forwards. Great. Now we need to create this animation that we've called lngrw. Let's do that. We're using keyframes to build this today. It's like stop frame animation if you like. We've got a time frame, 3 seconds, and we can tell it what we want to happen during these 3 seconds. So I'm going to say at keyframes. Now you'll find this code down below, but I would suggest that you actually write it yourself because it is easy and it's a great way of learning it. It's a fantastic way of bringing your editing skills to the next level. Okay, at keyframes and then the name, lngrw. What do we want it to do? Let's open and close some more curly brackets there. At 0%, or basically when the page loads, so it's 0%. That's second one or beginning of second one of our 3 seconds there. We've got to open some more curly brackets. I'm going to say width 73 pixels. So it's going to be short like it is now when the page loads. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to say at 100%, end of second 3. Drop down there. Let's change this to 100. I'm going to change that width to 100%. So 100 and the percent sign. Make sure you put in the percent sign. And as you can see, it's now stretched out the full width. Fantastic. But I don't want this to happen initially. So I'm going to go to my design tab. Right at the bottom you're going to find animation. I'm going to click on fade. I want it to fade in over maybe 2 seconds, which is 2000 milliseconds. But I want there to be a 2-second delay before they actually see this animation start. So in the animation delay, again, I'm going to put 2000, which will be 2 seconds. I'm going to leave everything else just like it is, because that works for me. Fantastic. Now while we're in here, if I duplicate this, well, let's just save this. If I duplicate this now, green tab for the row, remember, it puts a new one in, but it's a little close there. So I want to adjust my settings, maybe give it a margin of 20 pixels so there's a bit more separation between them. So let's just get rid of this one. I'm going to go back into my original one, design and spacing. I'm going to put a margin on the bottom of, let's say, perhaps 20 pixels. Just put in the 20, it puts in the pix for you. Now if I save this and duplicate it a couple of times, 1, 2, there's a bit more space in between. That works for me. Fantastic. Now of course you're going to want to go into each blurb module, switch out the link, put in whatever it is you want it to say up there. Like I say, you want to change out the link to hosting page, and we'll go into the next one, do exactly the same thing. We'll go into the blurb module, and let's just change that to SEO. Yeah, I'll make it a little bit longer. Service solutions. Great. So we've got our 3 little things now. If I save this and refresh, we'll exit the visual builder. They're all going to animate at the same time. We're going to have 3 buttons turn up at once there. Then they're all going to animate out like that. And that's kind of nice. If you like that, leave it just like it is. But I kind of want to see the first one, then the second one, then the third one, because it'll grab their attention for a little bit longer. And I think I'll put something behind here just to make it a little bit more interesting. So let's re-enable the visual builder. And to stagger these, you probably figured it out already, we can go into the row below, over design and animation. I'm just going to delay this one 4 seconds. I'm going to go to the one below. Remember, we're working in the row here. Design, animation. I'm going to delay this one for 6 seconds. There's going to be 2 seconds between each of these as they come in there. And just to finish off, I'm going to make my section a little bit more interesting. Blue tab for the section. And just throw an image behind it. Let's use the same one as we did before. And I'll perhaps make it a little bit deeper. Over in design, in spacing, padding top. Let's try 20 VH, 20 viewable height there. That'll work. Let's hit the chain, do the bottom. Got a fair size section there. And we're good to go. Let's save our changes here. Save draft or publish if you're ready. Exit the visual builder. The section is going to load. 2 seconds later, we've got our first button. 2 seconds later, second one. 2 seconds later, third one. Of course, when you roll over, you can click on. You could have it change color on hover if you wanted to. And you can add as many or as few as you like there. And let's just check it on mobile and tablet. If I hit my F12 key again. Here we go on mobile. Let's just refresh this page. Perfect. Now the only other thing I might wanted to do was in the section itself, I could give it a bit of padding left and right just to give that a bit more breathing room on phone. Let's have a look on tablet. Same with tablets. Let's just quickly do that. It's fine here. Let's enable the visual builder. We're going to go into this section here, the blue tab for the section. If we go over to spacing, left and right padding, let's perhaps give it 15%. Maybe a little bit too much. Let's make it 10%. It's pushed it too far along there. And same for the other side. That looks about right. Now when we save this, it'll have a bit more breathing room on the tablet and mobile. Exit the visual builder. There's our first one, second one, and third one. Fantastic. And as I mentioned, you can go on ad infinitum as many as you want. Let's have another look on the phone and the tablet. Here we are on iPad Air. Yeah, we got that 10% spacing either side there, which is great. And of course it will do the same animation. 1, 2, 3, and of course on the phone it'll do exactly the same thing. Perfect. If I refresh, 1, 2, 3. Just exactly what I wanted. So there you go, guys. There's how to create an animated little services section using a bit of CSS code. And that's a really nice eye-catching thing to have on your site. People go to a page, this sort of thing happens. It's going to get their attention pretty quickly. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.